The departure. Captain Ilara Reeves stood alone on the observation deck of the UES Pathfinder, watching the glittering lights of Nexus Station, the heart of the Galactic Confederacy, slowly shrink against the void of space. After 2 centuries of humanity's membership in the interstellar community, today marked their final departure. The communication panel chimed, pulling her attention away from the view. "Captain, we're receiving multiple hails from the Confederacy Council," her communications officer reported. "They're demanding to know our destination." "Ignore them," Ilara said, her voice steady. "Maintain course for the rendezvous point." The events leading to this moment had been building for decades. Humanity had joined the Galactic Confederacy with hope and enthusiasm, bringing their unique adaptability and innovative spirit. While their technology wasn't as advanced as the elder races like the crystalline Arctians or the telepathic Volari, humans had proven themselves valuable allies in countless crises. Yet for all their contributions, humanity remained second-class citizens in the cosmic hierarchy. Human proposals were routinely dismissed as primitive. Human colonies were allocated only resource-poor systems. Human diplomats were excluded from critical decisions, their insights disregarded by the ancient species who dominated the Council. Last month, after Earth's petition for a permanent council seat was rejected for the 7th time, something had changed. The dismissal had been particularly humiliating. Broadcast across the galaxy with commentary from the Volari ambassador that humans were barely past their evolutionary adolescence and unfit for true responsibility. No one expected what happened next. Within days, human representatives across the Confederacy announced a coordinated withdrawal from all joint projects, committees, and initiatives. When questioned, they simply stated they were reassessing their place in galactic society. The Council's initial amusement quickly turned to annoyance, then concern as human ships began departing their stations. Ilara remembered Chancellor Thrix's speech, delivered to representatives of all Confederate species. The insectoid leader's mandibles had clicked in what passed for laughter among his kind. "Let the humans have their tantrum," he had announced. "They will return within a standard year, humbled and wiser. Their underdeveloped civilization cannot survive without our guidance and technology." The memory made Ilara's jaw clench. What the Council didn't understand, what they had never bothered to learn, was that human primitiveness was by choice, not necessity. "Captain," her executive officer interrupted, "all human ships report ready for synchronized jump." Ilara nodded. "Send the final message to Earth Command, then prepare the fleet." Throughout Confederate space, a carefully orchestrated exodus was unfolding. Every human vessel, from massive colony ships to personal transports, was departing. Human settlements were emptying. Trading posts were closing. The withdrawal was total and absolute. "Message from the Council incoming," the communications officer announced. "Priority override. They're broadcasting on all channels." Ilara sighed. "Put it through." The holographic display flickered to life, showing the imposing figure of High Chancellor Thrix. His compound eyes reflected the light as he leaned forward. "Captain Reeves," the Chancellor began, his translated voice carrying artificial civility, "this demonstration has made your point. The Council acknowledges your species' dissatisfaction and proposes immediate discussions on improved human representation." Ilara allowed herself a small smile. "With respect, Chancellor, we're not negotiating. Humanity is leaving the Confederacy, effective immediately." The Chancellor's antennae twitched irritably. "This is absurd. Your colonial worlds depend on Confederate supply chains. Your defense systems require our technological infrastructure. Without access to our hyperspace network, you'll be isolated within your tiny corner of the galaxy." "We'll manage," Ilara replied calmly. "Where will you even go?" Thrix demanded, anger finally breaking through his diplomatic veneer. "There are no habitable unclaimed systems within reach of your primitive drives." Ilara's smile widened. "That's where you're wrong, Chancellor. We've never shown you everything we can do." She nodded to her tactical officer, who pressed a sequence on his console. Throughout the sector, on every human ship simultaneously, previously concealed technology activated. Exotic energy patterns bloomed across scanner displays as systems long hidden beneath layers of mundane technology revealed themselves. "What is this?" Fricks demanded, his composure completely abandoned as alerts sounded in his command center. "These energy signatures are impossible." "Project Prometheus," Ilara replied. "For 100 years, while you called us primitive, we've been developing technology in directions your people never explored. We didn't share it because experience taught us that the Confederacy takes from its newer members without giving in return." Around the Pathfinder, space itself seemed to ripple as the human fleet's true propulsion systems engage. The stars began to blur. "You can't survive alone," Fricks shouted, genuine alarm in his voice now. "The universe is too dangerous for a single species. We were never given the chance to be true partners," Ilara responded, her voice firm but without malice. "So now we'll find our own path. Goodbye, Chancellor. Perhaps we'll meet again someday, as equals." She cut the transmission as the fleet accelerated toward coordinates far beyond Confederate exploration. The destination was known only to human leadership, a cluster of stars discovered by quiet scout ships years ago, rich with habitable worlds and resources, perfect for a fresh start. As the ships prepared for the jump to velocities the Confederacy believed impossible for human vessels, Ilara's second-in-command joined her at the viewport. "Do you think they'll come looking for us?" he asked. "Eventually," she replied, "but not for the reasons they think." Throughout Confederate space, the aliens who had dismissed humanity as an evolutionary footnote were about to discover just how much their interstellar civilization had come to depend on the species they had never bothered to understand. As the human fleet vanished from Confederate sensors, they left behind something few realized existed: thousands of maintenance routines, fail-safes, and system integrations created and maintained exclusively by human engineers. Systems that would now begin to degrade without their creators' constant attention. The Confederacy had always seen humans as primitive tool users. They never suspected that humans had become the tools upon which their society unknowingly depended. The exodus was complete. Now began the waiting. The reckoning. 3 years had passed since humanity's departure from Confederate space. On New Terra, the primary settlement world in what humans now called the Prometheus cluster, life had flourished. Without the technological restrictions imposed by the Confederacy, human innovation had accelerated at an astonishing rate. Dr. Maya Chen, formerly the Confederacy's leading human specialist in cross-species medical procedures, now directed New Terra's Science Division. Today, she stood in the monitoring center, reviewing the data streaming in from the network of stealth observation posts positioned at the edge of Confederate territory. "It's happening even faster than we predicted," she remarked to Admiral James Okafor, who commanded Earth's defensive fleet. "The Velaran trade routes are completely collapsing." On the massive display wall, real-time feeds showed Confederate ships stranded at defunct navigation beacons, space stations experiencing critical system failures, and agricultural worlds facing crop collapses as the specialized hybrid plants, developed by human botanists, failed without proper maintenance. James nodded grimly. The Archean crystalline communication network degraded last month. 6 star systems are completely isolated now. And they still don't understand why, Maya observed. What the Confederacy was experiencing wasn't sabotage. At least not in the traditional sense. When humanity joined the interstellar community, they'd been assigned the tasks deemed too mundane or tedious for the elder races: maintenance work, integration protocols, adaptive systems. The elder races have believed these assignments reflected humanity's lower status. What they never realized was that these systems formed the connective tissue of their entire civilization. Humans, with their unique talent for cross-disciplinary thinking, had created solutions that bridged incompatible alien technologies together. Solutions that required regular human oversight to remain functional. Now, without those maintenance protocols, The technological ecosystem of the Confederacy was unraveling. "Incoming transmission," announced the communications officer. "Confederate origin." James and Maya exchanged surprised glances. The Confederacy had been broadcasting general recall messages for months, but this was the first directed specifically to new terrorist coordinates, coordinates that should have been unknown to them. "Put it through," James ordered. The screen flickered, revealing the face of Arxian Ambassador Zix, a being composed of shifting crystal formations that sparkled as they moved. The Arxians had always been the most diplomatic of the elder races toward humans. "Greetings, children of Earth," the ambassador's translated voice echoed through the chamber. "It has taken our best navigators 3 years to determine your location. I commend your impressive concealment techniques." "Ambassador Zix," James acknowledged with a curt nod. "What can we do for you?" "You can save our civilization," Zix replied, crystal formations rearranging to express urgency. "The Confederacy is experiencing catastrophic system failures across all sectors. Our greatest minds have determined that these failures correlate precisely with human departure." Maya stepped forward. "You mean the maintenance work you assigned us because it was beneath your dignity is actually critical to your survival?" The crystal being's glow dimmed slightly, the Arxian equivalent of embarrassment. "We have learned that what we mistook for simple maintenance was, in fact, complex system integration. Human adaptability created bridges between technologies that should have been incompatible. And now those bridges are collapsing," James observed. "Precisely," Zix confirmed. "The High Council has authorized me to offer humanity full membership status, including a permanent council seat and unrestricted technology exchange." James crossed his arms. 3 years ago, that would have been acceptable. Today, we require more." The negotiations lasted weeks. The Arxian ambassador was joined by representatives from other Confederate species as the situation throughout their territory worsened. Agricultural systems failed. Transport networks collapsed. Communication between worlds became unreliable. Finally, a new treaty was drafted. Humanity would return to Confederate space, but not as supplicants. They would bring with them the technologies they had developed independently, technologies that had flourished without Confederate restrictions. Earth would receive not 1 but 3 permanent council seats. Human colonies would be granted prime territory. Most importantly, a new principle of mutual respect would be enshrined in Confederate law. 6 months later, Captain Ilara Reeves stood again on the bridge of the UES Pathfinder, but this time she was approaching Nexus Station rather than leaving it. The station looked different now. Sections dark from power failures, repair drones swarming around critical infrastructure. "They really fell apart without us," her executive officer remarked. "They did," Ilara agreed. "But that's not why we're returning." "No." She shook her head. "We're returning because isolation isn't the answer. Humanity needs the diversity of the galaxy as much as the galaxy needs our unique perspective. We just needed them to recognize that." As the Pathfinder docked at Nexus Station, Ilara observed the gathering of Confederate representatives waiting to greet them. Their body language, across a dozen different physiologies, conveyed a new emotion: respect. The first human integration team spread throughout Confederate space, working to restore the systems that had failed in their absence. This time, they worked openly, explaining their methods, teaching rather than serving. Many aliens were astonished to discover the complexity behind what they had dismissed as simple maintenance work. In the Grand Council chamber, Earth's representatives took their seats, equals at last among the elder races. Chancellor Thrix, humbled by the near collapse of the civilization he had led, addressed the assembly. "For millennia, the Confederacy has prided itself on wisdom accumulated over eons," the insectoid leader began, mandibles moving deliberately. "Yet we fail to recognize that age does not always bestow understanding. The humans, whom we dismissed as primitives, possessed a creativity and adaptability that our ancient civilizations had lost across the ages." He turned to face the human delegation directly. "In our arrogance, We nearly destroyed everything we had built. Today marks a new beginning, one where we acknowledge that true strength lies in diversity of thought and approach. In the observation lounge after the ceremony, Ilara found herself standing beside Ambassador Zix, watching ships from across the galaxy come and go from the station. "Your people could have let us collapse," the crystalline being noted. "Many argued that you should. Why return?" Ilara considered the question. "Humanity has always looked to the stars with hope," she finally replied. "We didn't leave because we wanted isolation. We left because we needed you to see us clearly." "And now?" Zix inquired. "Now we build something better together," Ilara said. "A true confederation of equals. The universe is vast and largely unknown. We'll need each other for whatever comes next." As if to emphasize her point, an alert sounded. A long-range probe had detected unusual energy signatures from beyond the Confederate border, signs of a civilization unlike any they had encountered before. Across the station, humans and aliens moved with new purpose, not as masters and servants, but as partners facing the endless frontier together. The lessons had been hard-won, but perhaps necessary. Sometimes respect could only be earned through absence, and true value recognized only in loss. Whatever challenges waited beyond the stars, they would face them as equals at last.